New listings have posted their biggest uptick in the last 3 years throughout the entire country, which of course we know that means everything's coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. The party is over. Real estate prices are going to crash. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It seems like a pretty fancy headline, and it sounds like it gets a lot of attention. So we're going to find out. It's the beginning of March, and you know what that means? That means that data is out for February for the Denver metro real estate market, and we're going to take a deep dive and go into the numbers, find out what's actually happening in the market, find out what's BS. Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to rent and do nothing? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. My name's Alex Saldana, and on this channel, we try to help all you homeowners and buyers answer the questions and know what's going on with the biggest investment of your life. So if you're new here, welcome. Feel free, like, subscribe, or give me a call, reach out, shoot me a phone call, shoot me a text message, nights, days, weekends. I got you covered. But let's go ahead and take a look here and see what in the world Redfin is talking about. So when this article came out, and Redfin, I like Redfin a lot. You know, I love their data. I love their analytics, especially on a national scale. They update weekly, and I'm going to show you the chart that they're referring to just to put this into full perspective. Because in the last 3 years, well, that was post-COVID, right? COVID was still kind of happening. We were just starting to trail off on it, starting to feel a little bit better about the world. And they're referring to this chart, okay? Now, to explain this real quick, each one of these lines represents a year. And the orange line is 2021, the black line is 2022, the blue line is 2023, and the yellow line is 2024. So these are the new listings to hit the market in the entire country, okay? And you can organize this by your county, metro area. Like Redfin is a stellar source for information, and I love it. And we can see here that, 13% more new listings to hit the market than there was in 2023, okay? So there were approximately 70,000 new listings to the market in 2023 this week last year, and this year there's 79,000. But taking it back to the prior 2 years, we're actually down by 2, 3, 4, 5% from 2021 and 2022. But, you know, saying we're up 13% kind of sounds good. But I would argue to say that, you know, we had some of the most record low inventory numbers coming to the market in 2023. Why? Well, interest rates had just really started to tick up at the middle of 2022, end of 2022. And so you had this knee-jerk reaction from everybody in the market. And what that really looked like was, all right, buying frenzy was happening until the middle of 2022. Rates start creeping up. And everybody kind of goes, whoa, what's going to happen? Are we going down? Are we going to crash? Oh, God, this is 2008 again happening. So everybody hit on the brakes and went, oh, God, we've got a 3% interest rate on a house we bought 2 years ago for $400,000. And now it's worth $550,000. And now mom and dad are getting older and mom's got to move in with us. And shoot, we need a bigger house. And then you start shopping around and realizing, God, even if we bought the same priced house, we sold our house at $600,000. We bought a new house at $600,000 for that same mortgage amount and just transferred all of our equity into the new place. Our mortgage would go from $1,600 a month to $3,800 a month. Like, this is ridiculous because of what interest rates did. They went from 3% up to 7%. So anybody that had a mortgage rate in the threes hit the brakes completely. Okay. So that really stunted what listings were coming onto the market. A lot of pundits said out there that it was going to crash the housing market, but it did the same thing it did back in the 80s when interest rates were at 15%, or in the 70s when they were 15%. It stunted the sellers. So the market just balanced itself. We got less buyers because interest rates are higher and priced a lot of people out. And at the same token, we had less sellers because people were like, screw this, I don't want to take a mortgage on that's 2.5 times our current mortgage amount. So everybody kind of hits the pause button and the market does what the market does. That balances itself. Not to mention this 13% number is looking at record low numbers throughout the years. So now we're going to zoom in to Denver. We're going to start with the close price, okay? I'm just going to run through this because the close price is what everybody wants to know. Are our prices going up or are they going down? And we can see in February of 2024, just closed out, our median close price for the Denver metro area was $550,000. That is up from January of 538. Compared to last year of February 2023, we were at 540,000, so up $10,000. So up 0.5% from over a year ago, about up 0.5% from last month. And we can see every single year, ladies and gentlemen, the January is about the low. I'm going to zoom this graph out to 15 years, and we're going to look at the low times of every single year. And we'll start back prior to COVID years. 2017, the low was January. 2018, the low was December. 2019, the low was September, a little bit earlier. 2020, and that's where it gets goofy, so forget that. And then come the spring months, the peak of 2017 was June, meaning if the peak closed price is in June, those houses went under contract in April and May. Remember that, okay? In 2018, the peak was May and June were the same. So once again, these houses were under contract April and May. And then in 2019, May was the peak. So April was when most of those houses went under contract. And so we're just repeating the same pattern, but we did have this massive run up in April of 2022, where we were at 600,000 for the median. We went all the way down to 520,000, 15% adjustment in 2022. And then we went from 520 in January of 2023 up to 575. So we went up 10% in 5 months approximately, and rebounded almost fully. So we'll see. Do we break all-time highs this year? I don't know. Just stay tuned. Let's find out what the next couple of months will bring. New listings coming on the market. This is going to be the big number. That compares us to what that Redfin report was just saying. So in February, we had 6,500 new listings coming to the market. That means new houses fresh on the market, compared to January, which was 5,200. So another 1,200-ish to come on the market. So that's 10, 15, 20% more. So we well more than beat the national average on how many houses are coming to the market. But is that crazy or is that normal? Well, let's look at last year. So last year in February, we had 5,200 homes come to the market. In January, we had 45. So that was 700 more approximately. Quick math off the top of my head, 10, 12, 15%. Okay, let's go back prior to COVID years. What's normal? In February of 2018, we had 5,700 homes come on. January, 5,100. So 510% more. Like, these are totally normal numbers, folks. Nothing to worry about. Guys, this happens every stinking year. This is what happens. So 13% up, largest uptake in 3 years. Great. We've had 4 years of unprecedented everything in this country. Not a shocker. Active listings. So this is getting to our supply and demand. How is supply matching the demand? Well, in February, we decreased the number of active listings on the market. We're at 9,700, down from the month previous at 10,000. So just 300 lower, but with as many new listings coming to the market, that means that we're absorbing that supply, okay? Obviously, 2022 was really low, just to give you a benchmark. But prior to COVID, those 2 COVID lows that we're looking at here, prior to that, we're just kind of on trend with what was happening prior to COVID as far as active listings and the amount of inventory on the market. Pending listings. All right, folks, this is the activity. January, 4,800 properties went under contract, and in February, 5,300. So we should have approximately 5,300 properties close in March, okay, over the next 30 days or so. So that's a good sign. How does that compare to prior to COVID years? Well, let's go back to 2019. We had 5,300 homes that went under contract. 2018, 5,000 homes. So a little bit more, but it looks like such a low number because we're used to these crazy inflated high numbers of the COVID years, okay? Closed listings. This is the big one that everyone's talking about. It's starting to look healthy, ladies and gentlemen. January, we had 3,300 closings. We haven't had that few closings, okay, since 2015, right? That was pretty painful. 2023, we were close, but we were still lower. And then in February, we closed 4,500. So we went from 3,300 to 4,500. So the headline should read up 50%, right? Sales up 50% in Denver. Biggest increase in sales in the last 20 years, right? I don't know if that's true. I'll find out though, because that's a pretty darn big uptick in closings. And it's just about 50%. So I'm not exaggerating too much. We went up by 1,500 home sales, 1,200 home sales when we were at 3,300. That's pretty good. What did we close last year? So February last year, we closed about 4,300. So we closed a few more this year. The years prior, that's just kind of a joke. 5,100 in 2022. 5,800 in 2021. So way down still from those years, but well up from last year and from last month. So that is definitely a good sign. All right, now days on MLS. This is always a fun one because we're in Denver. We're in a hypermarket for the most part. And so a few days on market, it's one house in your neighborhood on the market that's overpriced by a couple $100,000 is going to skew all these numbers because there's nothing on the market. But it's fun to watch this. And it's another heartbeat. Last year, homes were sitting on the market up to 35 days. 35 days on average. Like, that's nothing. A normal balanced market, what they say, which I've never been in. So I'm just taking what the, old timers tell me is 4 to 6 months of inventory. Okay. A lot more than what we currently have. So this year we actually beat last year of being 37 days on the market in January. And now we're down to 26. So what does that mean? Buyers are coming off the fence. Stuff isn't staying on the market as long. Okay. Month supply of inventory, we are at 1.8, so still less than half of what a balanced market would be as far as the amount of active homes on the market. And then the amount of showings to happen. This is at 11 showings per listing versus last month, which was 11 showings per listing. So we're just kind of floating. We're kind of balanced out. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything crazy out of the ordinary here. I like it. I like what's happening so far this year. I think we will beat last year's highs of 575. We don't have much more to go. We've got $25,000 more to go on the median price. So another 5-ish%. So I think we beat that. I don't think we beat the top. That's my prediction. I don't think we beat the 600,000, but I think we beat last year's number for sure. Now, those of you out here who are interested and want a little bit different sort of content, I actually did start a podcast and I meet every other week with my good friend and colleague, Chris Lawhead. And then every other week I have guests on the show talking about our intense real estate market and keeping you up to date in more interview, conversational sort of manner, where this channel is definitely more on the educational side of things, where the podcast is a little bit more free form. And kind of expanding our horizons as to other people's takes on our real estate market in Denver. So you can check that out right here at the Living in Denver podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, happy housing.